Sorry, interrupted again by a phone call. So we were in that lizard pose, and so we are going to step both feet up to the top of the mat. We are going to inhale, half lift. Exhale, back to forward fold. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhaling into our chair. Inhaling up. And let's swan dive down again. Hands come down, and we're going to step back for down dog this time. And let's move through one vinyasa here. Remember, you have that option to drop to your knees. Meeting back in downward facing dog. So from here, we're going to do a little three-legged dog where we're going to pick our right foot up, but we're going to make some circles. We're going to kind of warm up, loosen up this hip. So circling that right leg. And then let's reverse and go the other direction. Lift that foot up high, and you can either step or sweep this foot up to the top of your mat for our lunge. Again, knee stacked over ankle, and then we're going to try that lizard again with the back leg straight. If you get there and it doesn't feel good, you can always drop that back knee down like we had it before. But bring your block in here. We're going to bring both arms on the inside, and lower those elbows down. Remember, you can have your block. You could have your block on this high level. You can have it medium or low or even not at all. Breathing through. Good, let's walk those hands up. We'll move the block to the side. And we're going to step up, bringing that left foot up to meet the right. Inhaling, half lift. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhaling into our chair. Inhaling up. Let's swan dive back down. Hands down, and left foot leads us back for downward facing dog. Moving through one vinyasa. Meeting back in downward facing dog. And this is where we're going to pick that left foot up, and we're going to circle that left leg out and around. Let's reverse, other direction. And you can sweep that foot up, and we're going to step or sweep it up to the top of the mat, finding our lunge, and then bringing that block in here. Both arms come on the inside of this leg, and find your way down to your lizard pose. Good breathing here. Let's walk those hands back up. You can move your block back out, and we'll bring the right foot up to meet the left. Inhaling, half lift. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhaling into chair. Inhaling up. And let's exhale, hands to heart center. Inhaling and exhaling. All right, grab a sip of water here. now we're going to do some work with pigeon. So I like to work with pigeon moving back and forth from downward facing dog. So let's sweep those arms up. We're going to find our way swan diving down so we can step back for downward facing dog. And so to transition from down dog to pigeon, we're going to pull the right knee up just to the outside of the right wrist. So connect the knee and the wrist, have them touch. You're going to slide your left leg back. The right foot, it can either be back there, or if you have a little bit more open hips, you can slide it up closer to the top of your mat. We're going to try to find the center of this pose. If you have bad knees, you may feel like it feels a lot better to put your hands down on the floor in front of you to take a little pressure off of that knee. Another option is to bring the block in here to help you bring the hands up higher. I like this more upright position. In pigeon, you're going to get into the hip a little bit better. If you find yourself kind of hunching or rounding forward, it kind of takes some sensation out of that hip. So find your good posture. Let gravity, feel like gravity is pulling you down. Now, if this is super intense and you feel like gravity's pulling too hard on me, you can take the block and put it underneath that right hip to keep yourself from dropping down too low. Okay, that's an option for you as well. So let's try to find shoulders back and down here. Try to relax, breathe through this pose. All right, we're going to put those hands down back where they were for downward facing dog. So connect the knee and the wrist. You're going to tuck your left toes, that back foot, you're going to tuck them under, and we'll tip that tailbone up and step back with the right foot, finding your downward facing dog. Taking a breath or two here. Down dog is actually a really nice release from pigeon. And now let's bring the left knee just up to the outside of the left wrist. Slide the right leg back. You can move this left foot if you want. And then find your good posture. Remember, you've got those options with the block. Try to stay in the center of your pigeon. Remember, we don't want to roll off to the side like this. By doing that, we lost our good hip flexor stretch, and we lost some of our hip stretch on this side as well. Try to stay in the center. Feel some of that gravity kind of pulling you down, helping you open up that hip a little bit more. Breathe. Let's bring hands back to their spot for downward facing dog. Tuck those toes under back there, tip that tailbone up, and sweep that leg back. Breath or two here in downward facing dog. Let's go back to that right side. Right knee up. Wiggle around, find your good pigeon. Remember to try to stretch that back leg back there as far as just comfortable for you. You can stay with regular pigeon here, but I'm going to give you some variations to try, only if you want, only if they feel good. Okay, you can do a balancing pigeon. If the knees are happy and the hip is happy, once you pick those hands up off the floor, gravity is going to pull you down more. So maybe if you're going to try this one, you want to put the block under there, okay? I'm going to try a balancing pigeon where you bring those hands up off the floor, and you can either do hands at heart center or you can do arms out to the side, your choice. You can stay there, you can come back to regular pigeon, or you can try a variation of king pigeon where you actually bend this back knee and you pull that foot in and you try to grab onto that foot and find a really great, a little bit intense, quad and hip flexor stretch. So listen to your body there, be careful. All right, let's bring those hands back to their spot for down dog, and we'll find our way back there. And now let's bring that left knee up. Make your little adjustments, find your good pigeon. Remember to try to have that good posture. Remember, if you want to try some of those variations, you may want to put the block underneath your hip so that you don't drop too low. We don't want it to be painful. There may be a slight discomfort in that hip, but we don't want it to feel like incredibly uncomfortable or painful at all. Please listen to your body. Okay, so that balancing pigeon, you can do arms out to the side. You could always do hands at heart center. See what feels best if you're trying one of those. Try to keep those shoulders rolled back and down. And of course, if you want to try that option of king pigeon, you're going to pull that back foot in and reach back for it, grab onto it. Wherever you're at, release slowly. Let's bring those hands back to their position for down dog, and we'll find our way back there. We're going to do one more on each side with this pigeon. So now let's bring that right knee up again. Okay, options again. Stay here, stay with regular pigeon. Use your block. Hinge forward, keep a flat back, and bring your elbows down to that block. Or if you can go all the way, you could bring your forehead down to that block. Or you could even bring your forehead all the way down to your hands for our resting pigeon. Trying to breathe and relax here. All right, let's slowly start to come back up. So maybe you come back up to your elbows, lift back up to your hands. Those hands find their spot for down dog. And we'll find our way back there. Last time, let's bring that left knee up. And again, your choices, stay with regular pigeon or find your way down. You can use the block under the elbows or under the forehead. You decide what spot is best, feels most comfortable to you so that you can try to relax in this resting pigeon. slowly, carefully find our way back up. Hands for down dog. Meeting back in down dog. And now let's walk those feet up toward the hands, and we'll come up with a flat back, nice and slow. All right, so we're gonna do a little bit of tree, but a little variation of tree, which hopefully will be a little bit easier for you today since we just opened those hips. So we're gonna try to have the foot be on the front of the leg. So a lot of times this is hard if the hip is really tight, but I'm hoping this lotus position may be a little bit easier for you since we just opened up those hips. If this is totally uncomfortable, if this is ridiculous for you, feel free to just do our regular tree, okay? But this is an option. So you're gonna grab the right foot with the left hand, and then hopefully that left knee drops down and just kind of hangs there. Gravity pulls on it a little bit. You may feel sensation up here, maybe in the higher part of the hip. Try to keep your gaze on one thing to help with that balance. All right, let's slowly release. Shake that out a little bit, and we'll try the other side. Try to be tall, find your good posture in this. All right, let's slowly release. Shake it out a little bit. And we're gonna come on down to our mats. We're gonna do one more good opener for the hips, and then we'll test those hips to see if they feel different from when they did at the beginning. We're gonna do a little double pigeon. So I like to scoot close to the top of the mat so that I can use the straight edge of the mat as a guideline. I'm gonna take the right shin and put it parallel to the top of the mat. We want to flex this right foot, and then we're going to stack our left shin right on top of the right shin. So when you first get here, chances are you're going to have a whole lot of space in between this knee and foot here, okay? You may be able to wiggle around some to get that to fall down, and a lot of it just depends on how tight those hips are. Okay, so this may be all you're gonna do today. This may be it. You may stay right here and feel an intense stretch, and that's good, okay? You don't have to go any further with this. But if you feel like you could go a little further, if you feel like you've got room to have some more sensation, we wanna think about hinging forward. Okay, we don't want to round. We don't want to collapse like this. We want to stay tall. We want to try to hinge forward. So if you've got your block close by, your block could come here, so you find a spot to put those elbows down. Now, if you can't get to the block low, remember you've got other levels of your block you could use, okay? You want to just try to keep your back flat as you hinge forward. So keeping your chin up is going to help you with that. Let's do one more breath here. And then we'll find our way back up, and we're gonna switch out those legs. So let's put the left leg on the bottom. Remember, line that shin up parallel to the top of your mat. flex the foot. That helps protect the knee. And then we're gonna stack the right shin on top of the left. And then, again, wiggle around. See if you can get that knee to come a little lower, a little closer to that foot. And some people are gonna be up here, and that's fine. If you're way up here, maybe a gentle weight using that hand. Just gentle. Don't push hard. Just a gentle weight there. Maybe able to give you a little bit more sensation, a little more opening in those hips. Okay, so if you've got room for more, remember chin stays lifted as you hinge forward, and you can find a spot, a level of your block to maybe rest those elbows on. Breathe. Let's do one more inhale and exhale. And then we'll find our way back up. Okay, so we're gonna unpretzel those legs. So let's come back to cross-legged where we started. So one foot lays in front of the other. And so now see if your knees are closer to the floor. I feel like mine are for sure. No doubt in my mind that I feel like mine are closer to the floor here. So then again, pull yourself forward, hinge forward, flat back, chin lifted. And remember, before you could leave your hands here, but now maybe you can walk those hands out. Maybe you can walk them out a little further. And then let's bring it back in and we'll switch those feet so we keep both sides balanced. Same thing, check your knee distance. I felt like my right knee was up really high on this one, and it's still up higher than my left, but maybe not as much. And then find your hinge forward. Let's walk it back in. Great, let's unfold those legs and we'll do a quick staff pose before we lay down. So stretching those legs out long in front of us, flexing those feet and finding your best posture. It's always good to practice posture. You should practice posture every day. That's the only way you're gonna be able to improve it. Shoulders back and down. Lift through the crown of the head, as tall and straight spine as you can get. Okay, relax, and this is where we're going to find our way down to our Shavasana. Now, since I did get a phone call in the middle, my 2 videos, I'm going to have to do part 1 and part 2 again. So we have time, we could go through relaxation together, but I kind of want to test it. And I'd love for you guys to give me a little feedback. Just let me know if that works okay. So I'll put you in relaxation, and I'm going to quietly, hopefully quietly get up and stop the video. And then you guys can just end your relaxation when you're ready. You know, spend at least 2 minutes, bare minimum. Ideally 5 to 10 minutes is good for relaxation. So, and then you can let me know if that worked out okay for you guys to do a little relaxation on your own. So, don't worry about falling asleep. Somebody will come along and wake you up after a while, won't they? Okay, so go ahead and let's find our way back slowly. Remember, make yourself comfortable. So if it feels better to have the knees bent or to place a block underneath the knees, feel free to do that. Make sure you let your shoulders relax back against the mat. Let your feet drop out to the sides. Let the palms turn up to the ceiling. Find that really good, slow, deep yoga breath again. And then feel your entire body start to relax. Let the edges melt away. Be sure to relax the face, releasing the jaw, closing and softening the eyes, releasing any tension you may be holding in the forehead.